It's always a good day when I can review some new TVC goodness. And let me tell you, these are very good. So this is only half of the latest wave of vintage collection. There's also the 501st Clone Trooper that will be getting its own clone corner when I get those in the mail. Yes, I said those. I did order a couple. And also there is the Ahsoka Tano from The Mandalorian. You may be thinking, oh, why don't you have that one here? Well, I'm not the biggest Ahsoka fan. I'm not really someone that's like, oh, I need duplicates of Ahsoka Tano. So I just decided to opt for the deluxe version offered by Walmart that comes with the tunic and, Grogu and all that. But of course, that's a Walmart exclusive, so it was an absolute pain to order. I was at work when it went up for order, and my brother, the hero, was able to get an order for me. But unfortunately, it got shipped to his house because he had to order it for me, and he had to do it really fast. So I have that Ahsoka. It's just, many miles away. I'll get it and I'll review it on its own. Don't worry, that will come. But the standard Ahsoka I will not be reviewing because I'm not going to be buying that one. But I did get Fennec Shand because it's Fennec Shand, and I did get the Death Watch Mandalorian. And even though I said I didn't need 2 Ahsokas, I did need 2 Death Watch because I love these new Mandalorian figures. I'm getting 2 each of all of these new Mandalorians, and I'm very excited to have like this Death Watch versus Mandalorian display going, because these guys, even though they are from the Mandalorian show, are from the Clone Wars era. So, I mean, they can go with your Death Watch from Clone Wars. They're Death Watch. Now, granted, yes, they are what will become the Children of the Watch. They are kind of different from the normal Death Watch. But then again, it was the Clone Wars. There was a different time. But still, these are the guys that took in Din Djarin and the guys that said, hey, don't remove your helmet because that's not cool. So they probably didn't fully agree with Bo-Katan. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, these are awesome figures. Let's take a look at Fennec first, because she's pretty sweet. So Fennec, her card back is pretty cool. I think they picked a great picture for her. There goes that one. We'll just set him off to the side. It is actually marketed Book of Boba Fett, which is cool. So it only took maybe about a half a year before we got a Book of Boba Fett figure from Hasbro. I will be getting the Book of Boba Fett Bobas. I'll be getting all those Boba Fetts at some point whenever the orders ship or whatever. It is how it is. You get it when you get it. Jcc2224. Dang, man, we're getting far. So yeah, nice card, nice picture, nice color. I dig it. The figure itself then is pretty great. I do have some issues with it, nothing too significant, but I definitely do have some complaints. For accessories, you do get her jug that she drinks after Bib Fortuna got totally roasted. And if you are wondering, I currently have no plans to get the throne room diorama. It's just, I look at that and I'm like, man, I could get a Hot Toys. And I ain't got space for that. So yeah, I will probably not have a fat Bib Fortuna in my life. Oh well, no big deal. But it does come with that. I've just dropped it. It's all good. You do have her gun right there, which she holds really nice because Hasbro knows what they're doing now. Up and down wrist articulation. Thank you. There goes the helmet. I guess we can talk about that. So the helmet looks cool, but it is actually one of my complaints. Because, man, you should be able to see your eyes through the helmet. And the helmet should have a hinge in it. That'd be so cool if the helmet was actually, functional. But unfortunately, they decided to make it a swap-out helmet instead of just something you can block on top of her. So, if you look at the size, I don't feel like... Yeah, if they would have had a helmet you put on, it would be oversized. Absolutely. But need I remind you what all of the Vintage Collection Clone Troopers have looked like for the past decade? Oversized helmets are not something that we are strangers to. I would have preferred a functional helmet that was just a little oversized versus something that, isn't accurate once you actually have it on her face. Because, yeah, it looks cool. It's a cool looking helmet. And it works for her to hold it. But unfortunately, if you have it on her head as the helmet, you're kind of missing something there, not being able to see her eyes or not being able to actually hinge that very visible hinge right there. It does have an interesting feature, though, how it goes on. Number one, you can also see that the likeness to the actress is pretty great. But it does have an interesting way of going on. So you pop the head off, and you actually pop out her ponytail. It kind of slips out in a very gross way. It's very odd, like slipping that out. And you push it into the helmet, get that ball joint out. Let's get this on. Come on. There we go. So yeah, once you have it on, like, it looks cool. It looks cool, but it just doesn't look right, you know? It doesn't look right not seeing her eyes. It almost gives her, like, it just makes her look like someone else in a way. I don't know, I just don't see Fennec Shand with a helmet where you can't see her eyes. It doesn't look right to me. Kind of reminds me of Boosh more than anything. Yeah, so that's definitely an issue I do have. I wish it was just a helmet. I know, like, there are some where it's like, yeah, I prefer the alternate head. Like with Bo-Katan, I prefer the alternate head. But with this, I'm probably never going to put the helmet on. Because it just doesn't look right. It looks better as a helmet you just have under her arm. What am I saying? Her last accessory, then, is her sniper rifle. Which is decent. The molding's kind of weird on it. I don't know, something about the details just looks a little over textured or something. I mean, it looks better on this side, but on this side it just looks a little odd. It does have a little bit of splash of orange because it does go over her shoulders. Because, I mean, it's Fennec Shand. She's got to have her weaponry. I say it goes over her shoulders as I totally put it over her entire body. But that's just how things go sometimes. So another odd complaint, I might as well just get out of the way. The fabric skirt, it looks great. It functions great. But it just kind of sticks out a little bit. I don't know, just kind of juts out. Doesn't really form to her body at all. It's just kind of there. But it's not that big of a deal, honestly. So her articulation is phenomenal. So she's got the dumbbell at the head. Pretty much same articulation for the helmet. Ball hinge, pretty decent range. Up and down hinge. She's got that ball hinge. She's got a ball joint, which is great. So she's got the ball joint hips. I'm so happy they finally figured out how to do those and do them successfully. And then the legs. Get a little bit of ankle rocker there. Looking good, looking good. So yeah, articulation's great. Figure looks great. It's great, honestly. My only really issue. My tongue is just done, man. It's just so done. My only real issue is this helmet. I just wish that it freaking functioned. I wish it looked proper. It's not bad, but it's just going to stay in her arm for probably the rest of this figure's life. I do like the printing on the fabric, though. Even though it sits funny, I do like that. Man, her color schemes is so cool. This is such a cool character. Honestly, she's probably one of my favorite new Disney characters, especially when it comes to like the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett stuff. Fennec is so cool. I'm very happy to finally have a figure of her. So, with Fennec out of the way, let's talk about the Death Watch Mando. So this guy is amazing. Is it as good as Bo-Katan, though? We'll see, we'll see. So you can see Death Watch Mandalorian. I like the card art choice. That looks pretty cool. I dig it. Yeah, you know, not much else to say. It's a Mando card. You can see on the back, though, oh, we don't like oversized helmets. Meanwhile, what am I looking at? Yeah, it's like, oh, we have, let's see, new, fairly new, over 10 years old. Come on, guys, we need a new clone mold. Anyways, this mold's amazing. I do have one issue with it, though, and I'm just going to get it out of the way right now. So, like I said, it's amazing. It poses great. It feels great. It looks great. It's an amazing figure. But my main issue, and you might already kind of see it just a little bit, is torso articulation. It's very awkward. When I saw these guys posed in the card, I was like, why are their backs so far back? They were seriously posed in the card, something like this. And that's because how the torso articulation is. You can move it very far back. So they can actually look pretty decent in like a jetpack pose. Like that looks great. But you can't move them forward much at all. So you don't really have anything to really counteract that back motion. So oftentimes you're going to be messing with these guys and boop, and you're like, oh, he looks like he's breaking his back. He is not wanting to stay in focus. It's probably, yeah, my camera's like, oh, it's a face right there. And it's like, oh, it's a face right there. Get out of the freaking way. Yeah. let's look at the boy, because it's great looking. Yeah, man, these figures are just so cool. He has a rangefinder that moves, which is nice, because Boba Fett doesn't. It looks great, though. I do feel like it takes a little bit too much of the helmet with it when it moves. Looks a little awkward. Does leave like a little bit of a groove right there. But come on, man. At this scale, I'm just happy he can do it. I love the multi-tones of blue, especially in the helmet. There's like freaking 3-4 blues going on. It looks great. I love it. I really love his gun. Look at that gun, man. That just looks sweet. He does have a little, he has like the West Star too. Isn't that a West Star style pistol? You can actually have him holster it too, which is great. His jetpack looks amazing. Love it. It's just so nice. It's just such a nice looking figure, dude. Look at all that detail. It's got the Death Watch logo right there. Aw, man. I love all the little white specks. The boots look great. Look at that little detail right there on the boot. Man. And it's so funny with all these Black Series figures. They're like, oh man, Cobb Vanth had a lot of paint apps, even though his body has like no paint on it outside of the armor. But then again, the same company does little details like that. If they didn't paint that silver, I wouldn't have said anything. I would have just been like, yeah, he's got a thing right there. But they did it. They seriously painted that little bit of silver. Look on the gauntlet too. A little bit of silver right there. Little silvers on the gauntlet there. All the little silver speckling on the armor. Man, this guy's so cool. And it's an all-new sculpt. It will be shared with Axe Woves. Axe Woves is going to be a repaint of this guy, but that's actually accurate. So I'm even more excited for Axe Woves, knowing that he is going to be just as cool as this. Because his articulation, double ball joint at the head there, rangefinder moves, shoulders move all the way up. The shoulder pads feed into the body. Elbows have really great range. He's got up and down hinges at the hands there. That blaster is very thin and tiny, so definitely be careful with that. Don't lose it. The torso, you can move it side to side just a little bit, but like I said, most of that range is going to be backward. So like I said, it's cool if you're having him jet around, but other than that, it gets a little awkward to move him around because it just kind of wants to floop. It's not loose. Like, he's not going to flop on his own. He's not going crazy. But it just, when you're handling it, you're just kind of like, oh, it's doing that. Hips, ball joints, so you can move those freely. They feel great. They move great. I'm not afraid of them breaking because I can just tell that those pegs are very nicely made. The production quality is very good on this. Thigh rotation, really nice knee bend. And it's interesting, too, how the knee works. Oftentimes the hinge is connected to the shin, but I think it's actually the same on... here, let's check here on Fennec. Oh yeah, on Fennec it's how it traditionally is, where the hinge is connected to the shin. But on this, the hinge is actually connected to the thigh, so you end up with a boot swivel, which is pretty handy. So I definitely dig that. Still a lot of range. You can get these guys in very nice kneeling poses. Very nice ankle articulation too. So yeah, effortlessly, look at that. Don't have to fight it. He's kneeling great. This figure's so cool. It's just so cool. Look at it, man. So this mold is an absolute winner for me. My only issue is that torso, but even then, it's not like a game breaker. It's not like, oh, it's so awful, it doesn't want to work. Fennec is also great, and pretty much both these figures just have like one big issue. Even then, they're not even that big, like I was just saying. There are things where it's like I notice it and it is like an inconvenience, but it's not a game breaker. It's not like I wouldn't say they're great figures. Jeez, Fennec, come on, stand up. So yeah, there we go. These are great. I'm really wondering how Ahsoka is going to turn out. I'll have to wait a little bit until I get Ahsoka, and you guys are going to have to wait a little bit until you see my review on her. But I'm really wondering. And also, got that Mission Fleet shield. That works great as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting Ahsoka, seeing how she turns out, because these are amazing. Like I say at the end of almost all of my vintage collection reviews, Hasbro is killing it. They are making amazing figures, but their problem is the distribution still sucks. They don't make enough. like quantity-wise when it comes to like variety, you know. And it takes so long, too. It takes so long. This Mando's from season 1 of Mandalorian. That came out, what was it? How long ago? Wasn't that 2019? Something like that? I think it was 2019 when we first saw these guys. And it's currently 2022. So yeah, it takes a while to get these. Definitely takes a while. So that's unfortunate. Even though there's all these issues, man, at the end of the day, once I get them in hand, Hasbro is doing a great job. They are making the best 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures they have ever made. Bo-Katan is, in my opinion, top 5 Star Wars 3 3/4 inch figures ever. These Death Watch Mandos are not far behind. They are fantastic. With the ball joint hips, they're revolutionary for these figures. And like I said, even though there's all these issues surrounding the distribution and how many we get and the variety and how long it gets until we get the characters, there's all these issues. But like I said, once we get them in hand, they're just getting so good. I cannot wait for the Dark Trooper. That one's going to be amazing. Of course, I'll have to wait, but I can't wait for all this new TVC, man. It's amazing stuff. And one thing I do like, too, is that I don't have to be super jealous about a lot of the Black Series characters, because we do get them in TVC, eventually. We get them eventually. Some we don't get at all, but then again, there's some figures in TVC that Black Series doesn't have, and they may never get. So it's kind of a, kind of a give and take. I do feel like it should be a more 1-to-1 ratio on figures made. Like, for every Black Series, there should be a TVC, but Black Series is what sells. Alrighty, guys. Thank you for listening to me as my voice is starting to go. I have been filming too many videos tonight. Ooh, a little swig of water. Still not helping. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Special shout out to the patrons at Patreon. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, my voice is going. I gotta go. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.